Hi again. This is another dream I had that I want to share with you. Again, I'm not proclaiming to be a prophet or anything like that. I'm just an average guy. I'm married. I got a few kids. But anyways, in this dream, I was in a building talking to this pretty big guy. We just having a good conversation. And then we went into this elevator. Once we pushed the button, the elevator had fell. It was like falling down. And I was scared, I was like, wow, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. I mean, this elevator was falling so fast that, we were like, floating up like from the floor like this, and then soon as the elevator landed, it was kind of like a soft landing, so it wasn't like to the point where if it would really hit, you would fall down and die, but it was like when it fell down, you fell down with it, so it's like you kind of like landed in a way. And the guy who I was with opened up the door, and there I saw all kinds of like strange things. I heard people crying, wailing, they were really upset, and I started crying because I felt sorry for these people, because I saw that these people, didn't have any kind of hope, didn't have any kind of understanding of why they were there. And so I thought to myself, I was like, wow, I mean, what could I do as a person to encourage these guys or these people to have some form of security and some form of a vision, that things is going to be fine, and that's what I told myself. And the guy looked at me and he says, you know what, you can't. It's already too late for these people. These people already choose their destiny. These people already, had a chance, but they forgot who they were and who they belonged to. And I kind of like looked at him, I'm like, wow, so what are you trying to say to me, So from there, he looked at me and he pressed the button on the elevator again, and the elevator started going up. And then once it came up to the floor that we were at, that's where the dream ended. Hi again, this is Gabriel Fairweather. This is going to be part 1 of 2 of the same dream I had. I just want to make sure I don't use a lot of space here. If not, then I'll just combine the dream all together. However, I had this dream a little later on last night. It's about 7:35 a.m. and I thought I would come here and share the dream with you guys that I had. Basically, it started off as me being at a party, enjoying a lot of dancing, the music that was being played in the company that I was with. From there, it changed over to a restaurant that everybody was at. So basically, in my dream, I felt like I could fly. So I tried my best to fly, and fly like Superman, if you will, and it failed. However, the people who saw me started mocking me, telling me that, you're weird, you're strange, I don't understand you, how could you call yourself a man, when you think like a kid, and all these things. And I told him, I says, well, I have no shame. My thing is this: if you believe in something, you will stand up for what is right, not for what is wrong. So no matter what you think or what you say to me, it's not going to affect, me and who I am. And you guys call yourselves friends, you need to seek elsewhere, because I'm not here on this earth to please man. And I told him, I said, I'm here to please God. So from there, that dream ended and another dream came in. This dream was where I had, excuse me, but I had two women in my bed. And I'm not that wild, but I didn't know why I had, two women in my bed. But in my dream, I never touched them, because I knew it wasn't right. I couldn't find myself, touching these two women because, I already knew I was married. I loved my wife very, very much. And I knew that I couldn't touch these two women. So when I said that I couldn't touch these women, my youngest son came by and slept on the side of me, and that gave me comfort. And he was like, "I love you, Daddy." And I was like, "Man, this is cool." So I said, "Thank you, son. I appreciate you, being here for me and encouraging me this way." So from there, that dream ended and another dream came in. This will be part 2 of 2. Now, this is where it really got interesting. As I was walking in this area that I can't quite figure out what it looked like, or imagine, what it was, but I know I was walking in an area, and what happened is that I had a chance to do something, and this thing was to find these articles or these artifacts, like a person out there who would dig and find all these like unique, statues and things like that. So in this dream, I was going to different many locations to find, what I needed to find. And then so what happened is I came to this one location. It was like a desert kind of scenery in a way, and I had my wife with me, and so from there we were dragged into a room, and we kind of like looked at each other and said, wow, let's just go ahead and then take care of our business together. And so my wife and I were pretty much happy. We knew that we weren't, in any kind of danger, So from there, in the dream, we in this room turned into like a form of like container that would like transport you to different locations that you needed to go. And so me and my wife, we kind of like transported from the ground all the way up into the sky again. And then from there, we heard a voice, and this voice was saying, you need to find the sword of intelligence. And we're like looking at each other like, the sword of intelligence, and the voice was saying, that this sword of intelligence will give you wisdom and knowledge and understanding, and that this sword is alive. And so we said, okay, fine. I said, if you can, bring us towards this location, we'll be glad to try to look for it. And so from there was like these three different like containers that we had to go to in order to find this location that we needed to go. The first one was this like beast head like creature. The second one was a man, and the third was like all these different types of snakes. So for some reason or so, me and my wife, we decided to pick the snakes. So we picked the snakes, and then once we picked the snakes, we would go, towards that place that we needed to go. So what happened is that once we found the sword, we would proclaim the sword to the people. And we told the people that, hey, this sword that we have right here in our hands is a sword that is alive, and that this sword right here will give you wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So in order for you to possess it, you have to have it in your hand. So I said, we don't want to proclaim the sword. We don't want to keep the sword, because if we keep the sword, this sword will destroy us. because it is not our way of life to keep this sword to our own selves. So we have to give this sword towards the people. And so once we allow the people to take hold of the sword, you could see the appearance in these people started changing to the point where they were like, really wise, really, important people. And that was the fun part, because we knew that if we would have kept this sword, that something would have happened bad to us. And so me and my wife, we were kind of like in agreement. Okay, you know what, honey? We remember, anytime we find these different articles, we can't keep them for ourselves, because if we keep them for ourselves, that lets you know what kind of people we are. So every time we find a specific article or some form of what's that word again? Artifact. Excuse me. Yeah, an artifact. We would go to the people and proclaim to the people what this artifact was all about. So at that point, I heard a voice saying that, you are a person who needs to understand one thing and one thing only. What is the sword of intelligence? From there, it told me that the sword of intelligence was the word of God. And that's where the dream ended.